Hi, my name is Dr. Kevin Kelly, and I'm here to present Solver to you today in Excel. It's a wonderful tool to help you converge and maximize and minimize models, or try to find break-even points. So it's a cool add-in that we're going to put into Excel to help you solve some of your very intricate models that might have a lot of inputs, and we're trying to solve something to either maybe to maximize profits, maximize sales, minimize costs, whatever you can think of, maybe maximize the returns on a portfolio, whatever you have. As long as you can make the model, we can let a solver fill in all those different inputs if they have some bandwidth on them, and find out the flexibility and the sensitivity on that to optimize our model here. So what we're going to do today is kind of look at 6 employees I have, and I have 6 jobs to do. And they all have different performances as far as how fast they can accomplish the task. And what I want to do is assign a job to everybody, but have it in a way that it minimizes the amount of time that they do the job. 1, to make the customer happy, and 2, so I don't have to pay as much because they do it quicker. So how do I put Solver up on Excel? It's up to the end user to actually do that. So what we're going to do is come over here to File, and very down on the bottom, go to Options. And we're going to come over here to Add-ins. With Mac, it's a little different. You can look that up. But I do PCs. And what we're going to do is go to Go. However, if you do have Adobe Acrobat on the menu item, we need to take that off. So if you look up here on the top here, you'll see Active Add-in. So Acrobat actually competes with Solver. So actually we have to turn Acrobat off. So you'll see it says a COM add-in, and what you would do if you have Acrobat, come over here to COM and hit Go, and then uncheck it. And then we come back in here, File, Options, Add-ins, Excel Add-ins, and we hit Go. And what we're going to do is check Solver right there and hit OK. And what that will do, it might install something, you might see something, you might not. But what we're going to see at the very end is under the Data menu item, we'll come over here to the far right and hit Solver. And let's go ahead and reset everything. So you'll see a blank screen as you come through here. And we can set the objective to, like I mentioned, maximize profits, maximize sales, maybe minimize the hours or the duration of the project or costs. Or we could try to break even to find out how much we should invest in a portfolio so we have a certain amount of return so we get our hurdle rate met. So what we're going to do is set the objective. So our objective on this one is our total time that we're going to evaluate this guy. But before we do that, we need to set up our model. So just to make sure you have it on, Solver, and here's the parameters. But before we start, I'm going to go ahead and reset everything again and turn that off and explain the model that I made. So what I have here is 6 employees along with 6 jobs. And that's their rate at which they can perform the job. And what I want to do is, in this blue rectangle, in this blue matrix, either turn them off, on, or off, based on they're going to perform that job. So if I put a 1 here for John, he's going to do job A. And what I want is for everybody to have every job, all my employees to be busy. So what I want is the blue rectangles to have switches, either on or off with a 1 or a 0. And to do that, I want to ensure that just one person is doing one job. So what I'm going to do is add up these blue rows over here on the right. So if I have a 1 there for job 1, it'll add that up. And I can see Paul gets job D. But if I put another 1 in there, it turns to 2. So that's my constraint, or my check to make sure that I'm not assigning one person to 2 jobs. Likewise, I'm going to do the same thing to the columns. I'm going to add those up, not all the way up there, just to here. And I'm going to add those up as well. That way, job A is only done by one person. So I'm going to add that up as well. And carry that over. And we can see that we have a 1 here for job D and job F, 1, 1. But we have a 2, 1, so that wouldn't suffice. So maybe an option of this would be 1, 1, 1. As I go down the diagonals, I can hit 1s on all of those. And we can see that each job is covered by an employee, and only one person has one job. And to calculate the total time between these two, what I'm going to do is take each of these ones and match it up with the corresponding rate above. So if I grab all those above here and selected those, we can see down on the bottom, it is 43. So how do I do that? Excel-wise, we can do sum product. Sum product takes our total cell up there, our total matrix up there, and we're going to take our total matrix down there and multiply our matrices. And we get 43, just like it said before. Formula text, so you can see the formula there. Now we're going to jump into Solver and work the problem. So we're going to go up here to Data, and, oops, too high. Data and Solver. So we're going to set the objective. My objective is the total hours here. I'm going to click on that. And what I want to do is I want to minimize my hours. I want to do so by changing the cells. So the cells I want to change are these blue ones. So by changing the variable cells here, I'm going to click on all these blue ones, click and hold. So it's much more robust than goal seek, because goal seek you only can change one cell at one time. Then what also I'm going to do is adhere to the rules of the matrix that I made. I'm going to add some constraints on here. So add, and I have a constraint. So what I want is all of the blue guys either to be ones or zeros. And in math speak, that's called binary. So we're going to go with binary. That means either it's a 1 or a 0. So I'm going to add that. In addition, I'm going to grab all these orange guys, the summation, so make sure that one employee only got one job. And those are going to be 1s, so equal 1. And I'm going to add one more. All the columns I'm going to add up, so those are also going to equal 1. And that's it. So I have 3 constraints on board. So I have my values here. My blue ones are only going to be 0s and 1s, binary, and all the orange guys are going to be 1s. And that's it. Pretty simple. And I run it, and ta-da, look at that. Wonderful. We get a nice little window that says Solver found a solution, and we hit OK. Look at that. That minimizes the amount of hours that I have for each individual. So we just go in here and we find Betty goes to job A, Susan to job B, and so forth. So that's Solver. Pretty proficient at solving complex problems when you have a bunch of inputs. So it's my pleasure working with you today. Doc Kelly, signing out.